Hi, and welcome to another episode of Hot Takes with me, the Silver Fox. Now, Humza Yousaf was invited to go along to a homeless project to see the good work they're doing, trying to help the people of Scotland who are living rough on the streets, have nowhere to live. A problem actually mainly caused by his party's policies. But he chose not to. He didn't go because he doesn't have, he's got no empathy for these people, number one. But also, he hasn't got any policies. He's got nothing in the pipeline that would be able to help the homeless. Now, if he had got something, of course, he'd have been on it like a shot, going, oh, yeah, well, look, I'm here today to speak to these people, hand them some soup, feel in some way virtuous because I'm able to give them a bit of soup and bread while announcing something that will help. But he hasn't. He hasn't got any plans to help the homeless. And so he didn't turn up. He didn't want to be embarrassed by standing there next to a problem of his party's making and being asked what he's going to do about it and saying, well, we have no plans to do anything. Shows he's very cynical. But in about 6 months down the line, when he does have a plan to do something, he'll make sure he is dragged out to go and see, some poor blighter who hasn't got a house, so that he can then stand there and go, oh, yes, and look very sorry when he hears the man's tale, and then announce blandly some assistance that might help about 4 people, something like that, because that's what he is. That's all he's got. That's all he's got. Anyway, we'll take a look at this piece. Not a very big piece. We'll take a look at it just to show what kind of man he is. Very empty, shallow man with no ideas whatsoever. Here goes. So, Humza Yousaf snubbed invite to visit a homeless project in Scotland because he's got no policies to launch. He's got nothing. He's got no idea what to do about the homeless. He's got no idea. He's got no idea about how bad the problem is, and he's got no idea about solutions to a problem caused mainly by his party. Scottish Government officials advised the First Minister to reject the invitation to visit the Homeless Project Scotland in Glasgow, as there was no rationale for a visit. In other words, please God, don't get involved, don't turn up, don't give them the opportunity to ask you what you're doing about this major problem, because you have got nothing to offer them. Nothing. Humza Yousaf snubbed a visit to Glasgow homeless charity as there was no rationale for him to attend, as he was not launching any linked policies. He followed in the footsteps of Nicola Sturgeon in refusing to accept the chance to see the work being done by Homeless Project Scotland. You don't want to get involved, do you? You absolutely don't want to be seen with these people. However, his Housing Minister, Paul McLennan, did accept an invite on the First Minister's behalf and paid a visit to the group who work from underneath the Highlands umbrella, from underneath Highlands umbrella, beside Glasgow Central. They run a regular soup kitchen while also helping homeless people with issues such as accommodation. The SNP-led Glasgow City Council have also been subjected to criticism from the charity amid rows about parking tickets and also an alleged refusal to give them an exemption for the low emission zone. So what you have is this charity that helps homeless people made homeless by the SNP, have then brought in this low emission zone and are now not allowing the charity that helps the homeless caused by the SNP to have this charity to come in with their vehicles to try and help out these poor people. The SNP are absolutely heartless psychopaths, aren't they? They have got no compassion, no empathy whatsoever. But what do you expect? And actually, given that there's a free food being given out, I'm surprised Susan Aitken ain't queuing up there with a bowl going num 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 num, because she looks like she's never missed a meal in her days, does she? Now, the Scottish Daily Express can reveal the government officials advised the new First Minister not to accept an invitation from the Homeless Project Scotland to see them at work. They sent an official letter on May the 1st where a volunteer wrote that would be honoured to have you witness the impact of the work we do. They added, your visit would bring public attention to the pressing issue of homelessness and poverty that many of our fellow Scots face on a daily basis by your policies. Together, we can join hands in creating a Scotland that takes care of all their citizens. But he doesn't want to know. He absolutely doesn't want to know, because it's not the optics. The optics would be appalling as he stood there looking at all these homeless people, knowing his party and their party policies have caused most of this. 11 days later, an email was sent out to senior civil servants which suggested that Mr. Yousaf should reject the invite. Sent out by senior civil servants, suggesting he should reject the invite. It read, "The First Minister has received an invitation from Homeless Project Scotland to visit their soup kitchen attached, and we're currently formulating a recommended response due with FM's PO, personal office? Don't know. Next Wednesday. You are aware that the previous FM received multiple invitations from HPS which were declined on the basis that the FM had a busy diary and the previous Cabinet Secretary had already visited, a position we agreed with at the time. Now, Sturgeon also didn't want to visit because she knew as well it's a poison chalice. A poison chalice at the soup kitchen. Because they knew once they had her there, they said, well, look, your policies have caused all this. What are you going to do to solve it? And so she just had the political nous to no, I'm not going. Thank you. I'm out. Send someone junior. They can deal with the problem. I'm not getting involved. From a policy perspective, there's no rationale for the FM or McClellan, they said, to visit the soup kitchen, and on that basis we recommend a decline. But it may be an option for Mr. McClellan to accept the invitation on behalf as part of his summer visit programme. Mr. McClellan's PO is aware of the invitation. The Housing Minister did end up visiting the project on August the 18th with the charity, writing he was very interested in our service and chatted with the service users and volunteers. Service users, he means homeless people. Thanks for visiting, Paul. We look forward to chatting again in the near future. In other words, we want to talk to you again in the near future to see what you're doing about it. I can tell you now what the answer will be. Bugger all. Bugger all. Before he attended, his officials suggested he was given a pre-brief to let him know if he expected a hostile reception. Surprised he didn't get one. Guarantee if Sturgeon turned up, she'd get one. An official wrote, Homeless Project Scotland are very openly critical of national and local government, and I think it would be helpful to be able to orally brief the Minister on what to expect alongside the written briefing if his diary allows it. And that is why Humza Yousaf didn't go. They are critical. They are against the government, and they know if Humza was there, he would have been questioned as to why his policies had created so many homeless and ask him what he was going to do about it. Of course, there's nothing. Nothing. Because as I mentioned, he just doesn't care. I shall come up. Yeah, politicians, they only go somewhere if they've got a message to push. They only do things if they've got a message to push or where they want to look virtuous for the cameras. But deep down, they're very, very shallow. They are all about me, me, me. They're all narcissistic sociopaths. And if it's not about them, then they don't really want to know. Because they can't be wasting their time doing good. They need to spend their time on important matters, like looking as though they're doing good. And that's the difference. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I shall finish there. If you like what you're seeing here on the channel, please hit the subscribe button, ring the bell, leave a like, leave a comment, please share the video. Until next time, stay safe, stay well, and remember, if you're critical of the Parliament or of the government or of people in particular, they ain't gonna come and see you. Be nice to them. Be enthusiastic till you get them there, and then collar them. Bye.